And now for reaction, let's get to our next guest. I recently talked with Senator John Barrasso to find out about his concerns moving forward in this second year of the signups.
My concern is that for the American people, it's going to be harder to keep your doctor, harder to keep the insurance that you had and liked. And what we see now is even the administration is lowering their expectations for the number of people that are signing up. And the reason that so few people are signing up, in my opinion, is because they're realizing it's not a good deal. They're paying more, but yet they have higher co-pays, higher deductibles. They can't see their doctor, so they realize it's not a good deal, and I think that's a big problem the administration's dealing with. The other is that today is the first day that people are really seeing what the costs are going to be. You know, the administration pushed the opening day for the this year's program till after the election, so people wouldn't see how much more expensive it's going to be now that we're into year 2.
Not only that, but the penalties if you don't sign on.
Well, that's exactly it, because if you don't sign on, the costs that you'd have to pay the IRS, the fines under this individual mandate, the most unpopular part of the health care law that says everybody in the United States has to have a government-approved insurance program, is just so offensive to the American people.
I know that there are efforts underway to try to strip parts of Obamacare in the big picture, but what about those who say, you know what, you got to go ahead and go ahead and vote for repealing Obamacare altogether and see how that forces the president's hand?
Yeah, well, we will have that vote in the United States Senate to repeal. I would imagine all the Republicans will vote to completely repeal the president's health care law. The Democrats will have to decide for themselves. Barack Obama is still in the White House, so at a minimum, we need to strip out the worst parts of the law that are doing the damage to the American people and to the American economy. And a number of those bills have already passed the House, many with bipartisan support. Things that have to do with the employer mandate. Even Elizabeth Warren, one of the most liberal Democrats in the Senate, supports eliminating this medical device tax because of the impact on both jobs as well as on innovation. So there is bipartisan support for a number of these components, but we're going to get these to the floor of the United States Senate, have a vote on these. You know, Harry Reid has just blocked votes on all of these things over the last several years under his control, but with the Republican majority, we're going to be able to take these things to the floor of the Senate. We're going to need Democrats to vote with us on a number of those, but Democrats voted for them as well in the House, because my main concern is the health care of the American people.
I want to switch over now to immigration really quickly, because we keep hearing that the president does want to force the issue, and by next week we could see what he wants in terms of an overall immigration bill that he feels is going to make the difference. Why do you think this president is pushing so hard right now before the end of the year to get a bill done and telling Congress, if you don't get it done, I'm just going to go ahead and do it myself unilaterally?
Yeah, I think the president now is absolutely disregarding the will of the American people. That's my concern. We had an election just a week ago. He's ignoring what happened there, and he calls it executive action. I call it executive amnesty.
You were in that meeting right after the election at the White House, where everybody was supposed to come together to try to figure out a way to move forward in a positive direction, knowing that the White House is going to deal with a Republican-controlled Congress.
Well, and the idea was to go in and discuss jobs, the economy, affordable energy, affordable health care, and the president really wasn't focused on any of those things. I was astonished at how little time was even given to any of that, because he was so focused on this, what I call executive amnesty.
But why not wait till next year with the new Congress? Why not let that go at that time when there can be real discussion about this?
Well, I think that the president ought to, and I would hope that cooler heads at the White House would prevail, that the president would say, okay, get sworn in. We've just had this large election with big results, and when people get sworn in, this should be an issue. I agree it should be an issue. I believe we have to do things to reform our immigration laws. I think many of the people running for office said the same thing. We ought to be able to do that, find common ground, work for common solutions. That's not going to be everything the president wants.
But it looks like you're up against a real showdown
in
in the next few days.
Well, we'll see.
All right, Senator, good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.